Hey everyone, you know that feeling, right? You've got this big, exciting goal, something you really want to do, but you keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Well, today, we're going to dig into why that happens, and more importantly, how to finally fix it.
When you ask people what their biggest struggles are, it almost always comes down to two things. Just getting started and then, staying consistent. That first step can feel like trying to move a mountain. But what if I told you that feeling has absolutely nothing to do with you being lazy?
That's right. Procrastination isn't a flaw in your character. The best way to think about it is like a predictable bug in your brain's operating system. And just like any software bug, once you understand how the faulty code works, you can write a patch to fix it for good.
So this bug, this tomorrow bug, it isn't random. It's not just a glitch. It actually runs on a very specific, predictable pattern, a self-reinforcing loop that just gets stronger and stronger every single time you put something off. Okay, so before we break down the bug itself, let's get this one core idea down. A psychological loop is exactly what it sounds like. It's a cycle. A thought leads to a feeling, which leads to an action, and that action feeds right back into the original thought, making the whole cycle more automatic the next time. It's basically the blueprint for any habit, good or bad. All right, so let's pop the hood and see how this faulty code actually runs in our minds. We can break it down into 4 specific steps, 4 lines of code that keep this procrastination loop running on repeat. It starts with a trigger. You think about that report you need to write. Instantly, your brain signals discomfort. It's this primitive, effort feeling. So what do? You pivot to a diversion, something easy and pleasant, like scrolling through your phone. And then comes the final step, reinforcement. You get a little hit of relief, and that relief teaches your brain, hey, avoiding that task felt good, let's do that again. And here's the real kicker. Every time that loop runs, the task doesn't get any easier. Nope. It actually feels bigger, more intimidating in your mind. All your forward momentum just crashes, and that mental wall you have to climb to get started gets higher and higher. But here is the really good news. You don't need to do a complete factory reset on your brain to fix this. All it takes is a simple, kind of elegant little piece of code, a patch, if you will, that interrupts the whole faulty loop before it even gets a chance to run. And the difference here is night and day. The bug's logic is totally passive. It tells you to sit around and wait for some magical wave of motivation to strike. The debug patch, on the other hand, is active. It's all about taking an action that is so ridiculously small, it doesn't even set off your brain's threat alarm. We call this patch boring habits. And seriously, the name is the whole secret. Its power is in how completely unimpressive it is. A boring habit is too small, too easy, and frankly, too boring for your brain to even see it as a threat. It just slips right past all the defenses that normally trigger that procrastination loop. And here's exactly what that looks like. You're not committing to a full workout, you're just putting your gym clothes out. You're not writing the whole report, you're just opening a blank document, see? Each action is so tiny that there's literally zero resistance to doing it. Now, this might sound like just a simple trick to get something done, but I promise you, something much, much deeper is happening here. When you consistently apply this patch, you are literally rewriting that faulty code. You're not just managing the bug, you are upgrading your entire operating system. Think about it. Every single time you choose to lay out your clothes or open that document, you are physically building and strengthening new connections, new neural pathways in your brain. It's neuroplasticity in real time. You're creating a brand new positive loop where the trigger, that tough task, is now linked to a tiny, easy action instead of avoidance. So it really all boils down to this. 1. It all starts with one tiny, boring action. Think of it as writing one single correct line of code. That one little line starts to overwrite that old, faulty loop. It might seem small, but it is the start of a massive change. Because look, real momentum, the kind that actually lasts, it isn't born from some big, heroic burst of motivation. It's built brick by brick through the quiet consistency of these super small, super boring habits. This is how you finally break the cycle and make getting started the easiest part of your day. So I'll leave you with this question. Just think for a second about that one thing you've been putting off. What is the smallest, most laughably easy first step you could take? What is that one tiny patch you can run on your code right now, today?